Lovely. Thank you very much for that introduction, and lovely to see you all. I was really worried when I was doing this presentation, thinking I was going to have to get up in the crack of dawn, but actually that isn't the case at all. I'm in Poland and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's not early for me. I normally get up about 6 o'clock. So absolutely brilliant to see you all. I feel very honored to be asked to do this talk. And obviously I'm talking to my people. That's people that are using technology in education. And hopefully I can deliver a really interactive session. I'm going to start by just asking you really quickly, in the chat window, can you tell me where you're sitting? I'm in my kitchen at the moment, but the people, when they're online, are often in very different places. And someone's in their garage, so that's a good start. Someone's in their study, someone's at home, someone's in their study. We've got a few more in the kitchen, we've got a few in the bedroom, someone's in the couch in the living room. That doesn't sound good. Lots of kitchens today. Campus, someone's actually at work. Okay, good. Someone's in their kids' room. Okay, someone's in the dressing room. Okay, in the home office, the dining table, the spare room. So you can see that's one of the things about teaching online. It's not always conducive in terms of the locations where we find ourselves. My wife is very likely to get up at some point very soon and walk into the kitchen. I've told her to avoid me for the next 45 minutes. Right, one more question before we get started. So what I want you to do is I just want to get an image of where you are. Okay, so I'm in a little village in Poland. I can see out of my door, out of my window, and I can actually see quite a nice view. I can see a few houses in front of me and some nice flowers. And I've also got my Chelsea cup in front of me because I'm a big supporter of Chelsea Football Club. So can you just name for me 2 things that you can see? I just want to kind of get a bit of a quick image of someone's already booing me. That's not a very good start, is it? And a quick 2 things that you can see. So some people can see rooftops. That sounds nice. Someone's got a wall and a bookcase, a courtyard and a staircase, a garden, some palm trees. Wow, of course. Gum tree we've got here, Sydney rooftops, balcony, trees, traffic lights, tree. You all seem to have really nice views, actually a lot better than often when I ask this question when I'm online. Okay, lovely, right. Good. Right, good. A pool, someone's sitting right in front of a pool, the tree, the driveway, the garden. Lovely. Okay, guys, let's get on with the session today. And what I'm going to try and do, so we're looking at kind of key tools for blended and hybrid learning. I'm going to try to make this actually quite a practical session by doing a few things with you, but also at the same time, I'm hoping to reveal a couple of technologies. I focus on technologies on the internet that could be useful for teachers and learners to use in their classes, and then I make videos to show teachers. In the year 2020, I had one technology that really stuck out, and I think I'm going to start there because I just want to show you this technology. We'll do a couple of quick activities with it. So I will jump into my slides in a minute, but I want to get straight into action. So I'm going to click open as a quick activity. I'm just going to jump open and just jump over to this technology, and we're going to do a couple of activities with it. Hopefully you've already come across it, but if you haven't, this is definitely one to look at. When I made the videos looking at WordWall, and you'll see in a minute why this is so relevant to hybrid and blended learning. When I first come across this technology and made a video on about it, the reaction from teachers was incredible. Teachers were getting back to me and emailing me. It must have been the day that I had the most emails ever sent. Maybe 200-300 emails, teachers just saying, Russell, this is amazing. So I want to show you because it's one website with about 32 language games on it. And we're going to do a couple of these, just a super easy ones. So I'm going to start with this one here. I'm going to click on this because I prepared this one for you. And this one is kind of working with adverbs. Okay, if I just actually, when I do a quick share, just make sure that I've got the sound on good, I have, so that you can see the sound. So what I'm good, this is a really simple one. Okay, what I love about this website is you literally just put in the activities, the content, click a button and the activity's made, and then you share the link with the students. So it's brilliant if you're online, but brilliant also if your students are in the class, they can access it on their phones or they can access it on a computer, but great for homework as well. And I use it a lot for homework. But what I like is it's one site. and about 30 odd different games from one site. So you're not having to keep logging to different websites to use technologies. Well, I've done a really quick taster one, and then we're going to do something a little bit more interesting, right? So this taster one, let me just play it to you. I click on the start button, and all I want you to do in this particular one is just in order of the adverbs. Okay, so we've got always, and then very often, and then often, and then sometimes, and then occasionally. Okay, now obviously I've made this really low level, but it could be, I could obviously use this for anything. I just input the language, press the button, and the game is made for me. Rarely, very rarely, and never. Now, one of the lovely things about this is that it tracks all the activity of the students. Once you've done that, you click on submit answers, and it immediately gives you feedback. So if you're setting this up as a homework activity, the students get immediate feedback, but you get all the information about what the students have been doing. Now, to share this activity, all I need to do is click on the share button, click on set assignment. I'm going to ask for your names. I'm going to click on start, and that is it. That's all I need to do. Then I copy that link, and I'm going to stop sharing and come back, and in the chat window, I'm going to share that link with you, and I'd like you to do that activity. One of 36 games that are on this, all specific to language learning. Just click on that link and you should be able to do that activity. And the nice thing for me is that all the feedback will come back to me. So I will know how quickly you did it, what score you got, what problems you had, etc. Now, this first activity is just a really quick low level one. When you've finish, when you've done the activity, can you just write in the chat window, done, okay? So one of the reasons I'm showing you this, there's a couple of key points that I'm trying to bring out here, okay? One thing, God, so Shona, you were really quick, okay, but one thing about this technology is it's one site, 30 odd games. The other thing, it's great because you can use it in the class, but you can use it for homework. I use it for both. When we teach online, one of the things that we need to do a lot is check understanding, because we're not in the class with the students. We can't see them. We can't see how they're reacting to us in the same way that we can in a class. We can't see so much their expressions on their faces, etc. So we often need to check understanding a lot more during a session. So when I'm teaching on Zoom and I want to check understanding, this is one of the tools that I like using because it's got 30 odd quick activities. Did you follow me? Did you check the grammar, check the vocabulary, check their comprehension? It's kind of a nice activity for that. And the nice thing is it tracks everything that the students are doing. In a minute, we're going to do something a little bit more interesting. I can see most of you are writing done in the window. As I said, in 2020, this was definitely the most popular technology on my website in terms of people getting back to me and saying, wow, Russell, this is fantastic. So many different games in one website. I can see loads of you are kind of doing the activity now. I'm going to give you about another 10, 15 seconds to do this, and then we're going to jump in and have a quick look at the results. And then what I'm going to do is move this activity on and try to make it a little bit more interesting, okay? But one of the key points here is, yeah, when you teach online particularly, right, you need to check understanding a lot more. And that's often something that teachers, you almost have to formalize it into your teaching, right? I'm going to do this and I'm going to check understanding, right? I'm going to do this. Now, we do that in the class as well. But in the class, we do get a lot of information kind of naturally just from being in the class with the students. Okay, so lovely. Right, let's have a quick look at your results. So I'm going to jump back onto screen share. One thing I forgot to mention to you, everything I'm showing you today, I've prepared a handout for you. So you don't need to worry about, oh, how do I use this technology? Everything's covered in the handout I'm going to give you. I've got videos that take you through these technologies. So let's jump back to that technology. Okay, I'm going to close the window. See, I can go to my results. And if I click on my results here, okay, it's going to show me, look, you can see how much I'm using this technology. In fact, just as I scroll down here, these are all the games and activities I've done with it. I just want to point out as well, I've been using this in some enormous classes where I'm teaching various hundreds of teachers at the same time. Look, I had 186 here, 224 here. Okay, so in fact, I think sometimes I've even used it with 400 or 500 teachers at the same time, because these days I'm not really doing any language teaching. I'm doing teacher training, though I am learning languages myself. Actually, that's the reason I'm in Poland at the moment, because I'm studying Polish. 224 people. So you can see and you can see just how much I'm using it. I'm absolutely addicted to do it because it's one website and so many games. But look, I can see that 76 of you, well done guys, have done that activity. And if I click here, it will actually give me an immediate breakdown of you know, did any of the students get any of them wrong or right? Which ones? Who was the fastest? Which questions they got wrong? I can see Ben was the fastest, Lisa, Shona, Will. I get so much information, bang, so quickly. Okay, now, just really quickly, if I come over to create my activity, just to show you, look at the number of activities on here. Absolutely fabulous. One website, all of these activities. Okay, and I've used so many of them, and in quite high level classes. So even on a couple of master's degree courses that I teach on, one with Nile and one with King's College University, I use this technology because it can be used at really high levels. So I try and do something a little bit more interesting, and I'm going to jump over to Google Earth, and hopefully this is going to work. So let me just see, because sometimes when I'm running Google Earth and I've got a Zoom session going on, it can be a bit slow. I haven't got the fastest internet connection in here. Let me see if I can do this. I might be able to get away with it. If not, then I'll set up a second activity. Let's have a look. Google Earth might be running a little bit slow, so maybe I'm not going to be able to pull this off. Ah, yes, I am. It might be a bit slow, guys, because unfortunately I'm not in my super duper office in England. I am out in Poland, so I'm kind of using an internet site that isn't quite as fast as the one I normally work with, but this should work. I'm going to do a little search. I'm going to write in Chelsea. So I'm going to search for Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. Okay, so we're going to write, in fact, let's write Stamford Bridge. That should be enough to bring it up, actually. Stamford Bridge. Let's have a look. Chelsea. That should do it. Yeah, let's have a look here. Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, Fulham Road. I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to, hopefully it's going to zoom me off to Stamford Bridge. Let me just make all of this a bit smaller and a bit tidier. And in fact, if we get rid of that. So here we are. I'm going to do a little presentation now. So I'm just going to stop this for a minute. Let me move this all out of the way and keep this nice and tidy. Okay. So this is Stamford Bridge. This is the home of my favorite football club. Just remember a minute ago, I showed you my cup. And Stamford Bridge, I'm going to just do a little listening comprehension with you now. Okay, so I often use this to present different places around the world, and monuments or historical places or places I've been on holiday or places that are important to me, like where I was born, what school I went to, where I used to go to my favorite disco in Croydon, etc. So this is Stamford Bridge. This is the home of Chelsea Football Club. The stadium holds about 42,000 people. We can move in a little bit closer to this and just have a little look at it. Chelsea playing blue. They were created as a football team in 1905. Funny enough, even though they're called Chelsea, they're actually based in Fulham. If we move out really quite a long way, you'll see it's a London club. That here actually is the River Thames, and see there is another football club called Fulham who already have a football stadium. And so when Chelsea was created, they couldn't call themselves Fulham because there was already a football team called Fulham, so they had to call themselves Chelsea. But actually Chelsea is the area over here. So the first time I went to Chelsea was in 1972. I was just 7 years old, and Chelsea won 4-0. And from that moment on, I become addicted to football. I'm now 56. I still watch football. I still play football, incredibly. I train really hard to keep myself fit enough to still play. One nice thing about if I use this button is that if I jump in the 3D mode, you see it kind of moves around and gives you this 3D view. If I just stop it here, we've actually got a hotel just outside of Chelsea. In fact, there's 2 hotels. And if I just bring my little man here, I can actually drop us down into the stadium. Watch this. And I'm going to take you right down to where I enter into the stadium. This is where I actually come into Chelsea with my brother. We always meet for a beer first. In fact, these days we go into the ground and have our beers in the stadium. So we always have a beer before the game. The only time that I've ever seen or cried with my brother is at a football match. Well, now there are other moments, but literally, you know how sad men are. We're not very good at showing our emotions, but it is the one time that we do show our emotions to each other, and we do tend to often actually have a big hug when Chelsea score a goal. It doesn't happen at any other time. Right. So I've used this tool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back now to WordWall. I'm going to click on my activities. And I'm hoping I've got an activity here all about Chelsea. And I'm going to get you to do this activity. Okay, so I'm just clicking that up onto the screen. I'm going to click on the share button again. Hopefully you were listening to me. So I'm going to see now how many of you were listening to me, or how many of you were falling asleep. So I'm going to click on copy, and I'm going to just come do a stop share, and we're going to come back again, and I'm going to share the link into the screen again. Hopefully, guys, you can do that activity now. So what I've tried to do here is link two really nice technologies together. Okay, one is Google Earth, which is great fun. If you've got a course book that you're working with and you want to bring the Egyptian, the pyramids to life, or you want to take your students out to Thailand or to Bali because you went there for a holiday, or you want to show them. I was actually looking the other day, knowing that I was doing the talk in Sydney, because I've never been to Australia. I went and looked at Google and looked at the Sydney Opera House and saw all around that bay. I mean, I just don't know anything about that. So it was absolutely fantastic. Google Earth is such a great tool to use in your class, and it's free. What I'm trying to do here is link the two together. Guys, when you finish that activity, can you write done in the window? So again, one of the things I do a lot with Google Earth is that I get my students to present. Okay, so I will actually get them to do a presentation. I'll often start, so I will do a presentation and use Google Earth a couple of times in the class. And then I'll pass it over to my students and say, right, I want you, especially at the beginning of the course, when you've got a new set of students, it's a brilliant way to start. Okay, to say to students, right, go onto Google Earth and just find something you want to present to everyone. It could be your favorite monument in your city where you were born, or it could be a place you love going on holiday, or a place you just love to go, or a place that's got great memories. I've taken my students off to the island of Crete, where I first started teaching English in 1987, taking them to Seville, where I was a teacher for 11 years, taking them off to Bali, to Thailand. You know, I've linked it to the book. We were doing something on the Niagara Falls. I've never been there. I opened up Google Earth. We went off, we looked at it, etc. It's such a great thing to link into the class, but also brilliant to get your students to do the same thing. But then, of course, again, if you want to kind of check it with WordWall, then this is a nice kind of combination of doing a presentation, so quite an interesting way to present, a bit more personalized, and then check, are they following me? So back it up with a comprehension activity as well. Give it just one more minute, guys, just to see. So two tools there that I would quickly suggest that you use. And one of the things I'm saying here, one of the reasons, you know, I could go on and on all day about technologies and show you, but what I've tried to select is tools that I use again and again and again. WordWall, because it's just got so many activities in one place, bang, it's so easy. Google Earth, because it's great for you to use, great to get your students to use, and you can take it so far. We're going to be looking at that in a minute as well, okay? So, lovely. I can see quite a lot of you have done that activity already, all right? Someone said they claimed that they were listening to me, but they actually got two wrong. So, but two wrongs not bad. And someone got them all correct. Wow, you were listening. That's brilliant. Let's have a quick look, guys. Okay. So, really would suggest, you know, one piece of advice I'd honestly give you, and I did write this in the spiel. You know, 40,000 educational apps. How many of them do I use? 10. And I get emailed all the time from companies, Russell, will you do a video on our web app on this? Will you? So I'm quite aware of lots of technologies, but I tend to focus on particular ones that I like, ones that I can pass over to my students as well. Okay. Lovely comments you're making. You're distracting me. So I tend to look for technologies that I can pass over to my students, because getting these technologies in the hands of the students is really, really useful. Okay. Yeah, I should have done a sentence about when I cried. I cried when Chelsea beat Liverpool in 1979. I think it was. That was the first time we both cried at a match. Anyway, let's just go back and have a quick look at what you were doing. God, your comments are distracting me. Good. Lovely. I'm going to jump back to the results again, all right, and then scroll down, and I'm going to come down to the bottom, and again it will tell me, wow, 75 of you have already done that activity. Really lovely to see so much level of engagement. I'm going to click on that, And then again, I get all this data. So, you know, immediately I could be in a lesson, right? I'm in a blended lesson or a hybrid lesson, and I can see that my students are not understanding what I'm doing, or they've not got it all right, or I need to go back and revise just one thing or two things. So I can actually look at the questions and see, right, okay, look, incorrect 7. Yeah, remember I did say there were 2 hotels next to the stadium, all right? So, you know, I could go back over that. All right, okay, it's Stamford Bridge, which is the name of the football stadium in Chelsea. Okay, so really good because of the feedback. The feedbacks on this site is really good. Now, let's look at the downside. WordWall, and I'm going to tell you a couple of little tricks here. WordWall, and I'm obviously nothing to do with this company whatsoever. There's no kind of WordWall. You can do 5 activities for free. So you can sign up, use it for free, 5 activities, and you can reuse those activities again and again and again and again. So you're not kind of limited to just, you know, you can go in and edit the activity and then use it with another class. All right. So super easy to just make an activity like the one I've just done now about Chelsea, and then change it to make it about Australia, or make it about, you know, a visit to Thailand. So you can edit any of the games you make. You can only do 5. What I did for a long time, it's a bit naughty, was I had 2 email accounts. So I logged in and I was using 5 on one and 5 on the other. That gave me 10 games, and that was fine. And I was doing that for ages. And then suddenly the company WordWall found my video on YouTube and emailed me, oh, we're so pleased, you've given us so much publicity, we're going to give you a free account. And I must admit, I do have a free account now. But originally I was being a bit naughty and I had 2 email accounts. So it's a little tip if you want to do that. But remember, any game that you use, you can then just edit it, use it in another class, so you can up the level or down the level. Really, really useful. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there, guys. I'm just going to just get. Am I on the right lines, guys? Is this okay? Is this useful to you? Okay, so I'm trying to make a couple of key points here. I hope I'm kind of. I wanted to start with lots of energy. I know you're going to get showed loads of technologies over the time. I'm not going to throw hundreds of technologies out at you. I just wanted to give you something, lots of energy at the beginning, and pick tools that I know can work well in a kind of hybrid situation where you almost want to get the students in the class and the students out of the class to be doing the same thing. This is what we're trying to do with hybrid. I have to tell you now, my experience with hybrid, and I've never taught hybrid myself, but I've observed quite a few classes, is it's very hard. It's not something in all honesty, I'm not happy with. I think that we've got to find better solutions. Blended, I love it. Absolutely, you know, and there's so much I could talk about blended learning. Right, I want to jump on, guys, to perhaps one of the most important things, and I'm really, really looking forward to showing you this. And one of the reasons is that this is an idea that I originally wrote about myself many years ago, in fact, as far back as 2006. Now, I know that some of you will know this idea, but what I'm hoping is, number one, you might have not realized just, wow, is this that technology being used in this and this and this and this way? And number two is to tell you that there's going to be a renaissance of this technology. It's already massive, it's already everywhere, but there's going to be even bigger renaissance now because of the fact that many of us have kind of moved into more teaching online. But also, I've been asked recently, people, in fact, the English Language Teaching Journal had contacted me, Russell, could you write an article about that technology? I know you wrote about it in 2006. I'm talking about screen capture technology, the ability to record the screen of your computer. I will come to my PowerPoint slides in a minute, but this often happens with me. Okay, I know what I want to talk about, and I ended up just getting straight into using the technologies. Let me before I show you screen capture technology, and we do a couple of examples. Some of you will know this technology, but what you may not know is what you can do with this technology. Okay, so screen capture technology is the ability to record the screen of your computer and turn that recording into a video instantly. So you can open up a PowerPoint slide and record yourself talking over it. You can open up a picture and record yourself talking over it. You can open up a website and record yourself talking over it, and then send the video to the students. Now, these technologies are free. But what it is about this technology is some of the other things that you can do that you may not have thought about. And I really want to open up your eyes, because probably, just like I've showed you WordWall, which would be the most popular technology in 2020, overall, the technology I have had the most feedback on is screen capture technology. I use it all the time. okay, for hundreds of things. And let me just show you. So I'm going to start by showing you, because it's a free technology as well, which is absolutely brilliant. Some of you will be aware of it. I do know that. But what you may not be aware of is what you can do with it. Let me just quickly show you the technology first. The one I'm going to show you today is this one, okay, this one is called Screencast-O-Matic. Remember, everything I'm showing you today, I've got videos to show you how to use it. And all you need to do for this particular technology is you simply click on this button here, Launch Free Recorder, and it opens up a recorder onto the screen of your computer. Now, I'm just going to make sure that you're seeing that, all right? Because sometimes when let me just move that a minute. Sometimes when I do a share on this one, it doesn't all come out. Yeah, lovely, that's working brilliant. Okay, so look, now you can see that I've got this little recorder open. Okay, now what happens is I'm going to minimize the screen and leave the recorder on the screen. There we can see my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and I'm going to do an example with the PowerPoint presentation. Let's imagine that I couldn't have made it today. One of the things that I could have done, of course, is I could have actually pre-recorded this whole presentation. I could even include myself on the screen. Free technology. And if I click on this button now, I can literally record myself, and I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to record myself doing my presentation. Hi guys, welcome to the English Australia Ed Tech SIG. My name is Russell Stannard. I'm doing a presentation for you today. I'm really sorry that I can't meet you in person or do this online, so we've had to pre-record this. Stop. I'm going to move to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to jump. Yeah. One of the first technologies I want to talk about is WordWall. WordWall is a really great technology. It's one of the most popular technologies currently on my website, bloody, bloody, blah. I'll just stop again. I can move to the next one. Now, amazingly, that video is already ready. If I click on Done, and I click on Save and Upload, that video will come onto the screen, and I can all instantly play that video back. Let me just play it back to you. Hi guys, welcome to the English Australia Ed Tech SIG. My name's Russell Stannard. I'm doing a presentation for you today. I'm really sorry that I can't meet you in person or do this online, so we've had to pre-record this. One of the first technologies. Okay, so simple. Now, even more incredible is that I could now save that video onto my computer instantly, or I could, for example, load that video onto my YouTube channel. If you link your Screencast-O-Matic to your YouTube channel, and your YouTube channel is free, as long as you've got a Gmail account, right? So you can upload videos directly onto your own YouTube channel. You have a YouTube channel if you have a Gmail account. Most of you, I'm sure, will know that. I'm just going to click here on, we'll do a quick test. So we're going to write Australia, okay, 2. And then I'm going to always set the video as unlisted. That means that you can't search for that video on YouTube. You can only watch the video if you have the link. And we should really put in some tags. So I'm just going to put in one tag here for now. Just want to do this really quickly. Now, I know that some of you are going to know this technology. That's not the point I'm going to make. The point is going to show you some of the things I do with this technology. So I'm going to click on Publish. And I'm hoping that video is going to be uploaded directly onto my YouTube account, and I can see that it's actually being uploaded in front of your eyes. Now, it's a little bit slow, as I said, because I am out in Poland, we are on Zoom, and so, you know, it's actually quite tricky. I'm kind of doing a screen capture while I'm screen capturing, but there it is, it's been done. I'm going to click on Copy Link, okay? I'm going to come back to Stop Share. I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to share that link, guys, into the window, and I'm really hoping, can you just click on that link and tell me if you can play that video? Just tell me, okay? So you saw me in front of your eyes make a video using screencast technology, all right? Now, this is where you got, right, brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, okay? So you can just see how powerful that is. Now, I just want you to start thinking about that technology. As I said, in 2006, I already knew about that technology. I was at the BET conference in London. I saw that technology, and I thought to myself, well, hang on, that is crazy. That is just the craziest technology I've ever seen. That means that I could give my students feedback using that. I could open my students' work on the screen, mark the things on the screen that's wrong with their work, and record myself going through their work and then send them the video. And I started at that point a huge People have forgotten me these days. It's like 15 years later, all the research that's done into it, and there's some brilliant research now, way better than my stuff. But people have kind of forgotten that I'd written about this way back then. Some people haven't, which is really nice. But for me, it was incredible. It generated so much publicity. I mean, I ended up on TV and there was newspaper articles about it, and I won some awards for the idea. Just think of doing this now that we teach online. Okay, giving feedback this way. You can think how quick it is just to open a student's work up, mark a few things on the screen, bang, give them the feedback, send them the video. I'm going to show you 2 examples of that idea. And these are actual genuine ones. So I'm going to do a screen share. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and this isn't particularly good in all honesty, the very first one I ever did. This is it, all right? I've got a student called Lulu. I've marked her work by just highlighting the key points. So she's written it in Microsoft Word. I opened up the screen capture and recorded myself going through her work, and then I sent her back the video. Let me just play a little bit of this to you.
Hi Lou, just want to go through some of the things in your essay here. My name is Yue Hualu. I am Chinese, but of the moment. Now you've got the wrong preposition there, so we need to change that if you can. Here you said at the weekends, but can you look at the spelling of that word, because you've spelt that word incorrectly. Now if we look at this sentence, when I first come to England, now I didn't speak English. Now
just imagine how powerful that is as a way of giving feedback to your students. Okay, I'm going to show you now another example. Let me just see if I can close that down a minute. Okay, I know we're not screen sharing now. I'm going to jump back and see if I can just show you a higher level example. 1 second, just so that you can really get a feel. Now, I cannot exaggerate how much I'm using this. I teach on 2 master's degree programs, and both of them I'm just continually using this as a way of giving feedback to my students, because it really does speed up and make life easier for myself. So I'm going to reshare, do another screen share now. Let me just see if I can get that onto the screen to show you. 1 second, let me just click here. Good, I've got the video ready. Let's have a look. Screen share it. Where is it on the screen? It's not coming. Oh, there it is. Lovely. Right. Okay. So let me just show you this. This is much higher level. So that one from Yue Hualu, that was a lower level one. This one, this is actually funny enough, this is actually a master's degree student who was writing about my idea. So this student was trying to actually get a paper published about my idea. And what I've done is I've already read her work, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on 5 key things that I want to correct in her work. So I'm just going to play a little bit so you get the feel. Think about how much information I'm giving to the student so quickly. Yeah, just open it up, read it, mark 5 things that I want to talk about, start the recording, video's finished, upload onto YouTube, send her the link, or upload onto Moodle, or upload onto Edmodo. So watch this.
Just provide you with a little bit of feedback on your essay, and the first thing I want to point out is just we come down to here, and I was noticing that you were talking about, I think you're not describing very clearly exactly what screen capture does, and I think it's very important that we explain that if you highlight anything, if you write anything, if you move your cursor on the screen, on the student's written work, then that comes out in the essay, because I don't think you're making that point very clearly here. So I think you might need to rethink that point. Another little point I just want to bring up is here, you use the word live. Now, I think live is not...
I mean, just think about the amount of feedback I'm able to give in just a video of maybe 4 or 5 minutes long. Okay, in a minute, I'm actually going to demo an example to you so you can really see this working. Okay, let's just talk. There's been masses of research on this. As I said, I actually wrote about this in 2006 in the Modern English Teacher, was the very first article. At the time, there was nothing about screen capture technology. It's taken off. Someone just published a paper in 2020 from Mahoney. It's just absolutely brilliant, and it's way better than anything I could do. But you know, it really is, you know, when we're talking about teaching online, giving feedback to our students in this way, it's so powerful. Let me actually finally get onto our presentation just for a couple of seconds. All right, so I just want to point out a couple of the kind of key points that are coming up in terms of this as an idea. So let's just quickly go through them. Okay, so there's big coverage of this idea now: screen capture feedback, video feedback, and it's got got a big heritage in language teaching because obviously I'd written about it and other language teachers picked up on it. One of the key points is teacher presence. When you're teaching online, or when you're even in a blended learning course, particularly if it's very blended, you might not necessarily have a lot of contact with your students. So it's really powerful if your students suddenly meet you online and listen to your voices, and you can even include yourself on the screening. Okay, so it really helps teacher presence. It's the amount of feedback. It's about double in the research that's been done. It provides about double the amount of feedback to the students. It's clearer. One of the reasons it's clearer is because you can set the context. You can say to the student, well, listen, guys, you've made a mistake here with the past simple. Remember last week we covered it in the lesson, ED or whatever. You don't have to focus necessarily on grammar. You can also focus on content, on organization, or you can do all three. One of the big things that the students like is the voice. It keeps coming over about the voice, the use of the voice, and the fact that when we speak, we're less direct. We use lots of kind of words to soften the way that we give the feedback. You know what the English are like? We say things like, you know, if you could possibly think of, it might be a good idea to do this. Yeah. So we soften the way that we use the feedback, and it makes it less threatening and more digestible. This is really powerful. And I'm pointing this out to you because, as I said, there's going to be a renaissance of this, because particularly as more and more teaching goes online, which I'm not necessarily saying is a good thing, this is going to become more and more important as a powerful way to communicate with your students. And I really am, you know, practice what I'm preaching here. I am using this all of the time. I mean, I'm running a master's degree program at the moment, and I'm using it continually to give feedback to students on comments that they're making, summary stuff. Now, one of the things about this idea as well is that it doesn't have to be individualized feedback to one student. Sometimes what I do is I do a summary video. I've read all their essays, or I've watched all their presentations, and then I simply open up Microsoft Word, write out the key points, and then I simply summarize the kind of a summary video. And I'm going to see if I can show you a quick example of that in action. Okay, I use this for so many things, so many ways. Let me just see if I can screen share. I'm just going to stop, do a new share, see if we can do that. Brilliant, that's come up as well. So look at this one. Again, this is a genuine example. This is from years ago. This is about 2006, 2007. I had a group of students, they'd done presentations, I took notes, I went home, I made one video, so super quick, just wrote out the key points, turned on the recorder, recorded it, and sent the video to everyone. The reason I did this as well is because I knew that later on in the month, they had to do another presentation, so they were able to use the video as a reminder. We often call that feed forward, okay? So if I click on this button here.
Go through some of the things from today's presentation. First of all, when you're presenting, try to look at the audience as much as you can. A lot of you were, in fact, you can see the first 2 points together here really, because a lot of you tended to be looking at your notes as you were doing your presentation. And so it's a good idea to try and look at your audience more. And obviously, if you keep looking at your notes, then you can't look at your audience. One thing that I do to avoid looking at my notes.
Again, so simple, one video, bang, feedback to all the group, all about that. I do this a lot when I work with forums. I read all the forum posts, and then I do a summary video at the bottom and just say, right, guys, I've seen all your summary, all your forum ideas, all the discussion taking place on Moodle today. Here is a summary of the key points. I use it a lot on Padlet. I do the same thing on Padlet. I do summary videos. So this is super powerful. Remember, this technology is free, completely free. You can make videos of up to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is way too long for the feedback. You only need about 5 or 6 minutes. But what's super powerful about this tool is that you can put this into the hands of your students. Get them to record themselves doing a PowerPoint, talking over a picture, talking over a place that they love, going onto Google Earth and recording themselves talking over something on Google Earth. I've even done that. You know, getting the students to self-evaluate. I use a lot of e-portfolios in my teaching, and I get my students to self-evaluate using screen capture, to go through their e-portfolio and tell me what they like, what they don't like about their e-portfolio, what they could do better, what they did more than I asked them to do in the question. Vocabulary lists. You know, you've got a list of vocabulary that students are having problems with, and you just make a quick video and go through the list. Grammar lessons, instructional videos. There's so many things that you can do with this technology. You don't even have to have students doing the recordings on their own. A lot of the work I do these days is getting my students to do recordings in pairs. They put the questions on the screen and then they ask each other the questions. There are just so many ways that you can work with this technology. I'm going to jump back a minute and stop sharing. I'm just going to come back onto the screen. Okay. Yeah, someone's keep telling me it's a friendly reminder that we're almost out of time. I am actually at the end of my presentation. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so again, I want you to just see the potential of this technology. It's really a technology that can be used in loads of different ways. It's got so much use in blended learning and hybrid learning, but not only in terms of what you can do with it. You know, one thing that I'm working on a lot these days is training my students to be better at studying on their own, teaching them how to do good searches, teaching them how to search on YouTube, teaching them how to use Quizlet, teaching them how to use Google Translate. What a brilliant idea, make videos using Screencast and Matic. Right, I'm going to jump out because I'm going to get told off in I'm late, okay? I know how important that is to, you know, when people are running a conference to keep it on board. So last thing, guys, you know, conclusions. You need formative assessment tools when you're teaching online, really important. Look at Google Earth, brilliant because you can transfer in it from the teacher to the students as well. WordWall, 36 games, one site, absolutely fabulous. Screen capture technology is just got to be the best ever technology I've come across as a teacher. I wrote that as the title 15 years ago. I'm still saying it today. Now, one thing that I've done for you is this special handout. A video, how to use WordWall, a video all about my feedback idea and some of the research that's been taking place, a video of how to do screen capture technology using a free tool, a video how to use Google Earth, and also a great a resource to read all about the video feedback idea, some of the research. My research is rubbish. Don't read my research. Look at what other people have done. If you want this handout, all you need to do is email me. Email me, russellhandout@gmail.com. Put the subject Australia, just write, hi, I am blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah. Just love to know where you're from. This is only the second time I've ever done a presentation in Australia. So really, really pleased to be here. And you will get that handout and then you'll be able to go off and learn to use screen capture technology, learn to use WordWall, learn to use Google Earth. And hopefully that'll be a nice, useful set of resources that you can use in a hybrid and an online lesson. I hope my clock says I'm right on time, guys. It says 7:45 in the UK. I guess that's 4:45 in the afternoon in Australia, Sydney. I'm going to stop there. I hope that presentation was useful to you. Good luck with the rest of your conference, and thank you very much.
Thank you.